The day of trumpets. The day of trumpets. The day of shouting. This day, believe it or not, is believed to be the day of judgment. That Yahweh will sit in judgment on YomTeruah. He's going to sit in judgment between this day and the Day of Atonement. It's believed in rabbinic circles that Yahweh does sit in judgment each year during this time. And He determines what's going to happen to you in the coming year. That your past performance, if you will, or past is judged, and your seals for the following year to receive whatever you deserve, or whatever grace you earned, or whatever is going to upon you. The sages say that whether it's physical, financial, that all of this is preordained. Of course, this is Talmud given that this is it. But tradition has it that this day really is a day of judgment. I don't know about the yearly judgment, but I do know that there will come a day when it will be a judgment. And it will be the judgment of the entirety of your life. Whether these yearly judgments go out or not, I don't know. Now, when Yahweh returns, books are opened on this day. And those who shall return to Yahweh for Teruah are written in the book of righteousness. I'll go back to the world all that. All the other people are divided into two groups. The first group is those who are only wicked, totally wicked, that have still their faith for struggle. The other group is those that are in the intermediate area. In other words, they haven't qualified to be part of the bride at that point. They're not made spirit beings. They're merely waiting in judgment. And they have the 10 days, the days of awe, that we're entering into, the days between trumpets and atonement, to turn their fate around. And you have a 10-day period in which Yahweh may have mercy upon you. That the three pillars of the world are hung upon prayer, charity, and study of His Word. And through those, you can turn your faith from one of destruction to one of being in the kingdom. Will we be written in that book, or will we be blotted out? Let's go to Revelation 20, verse 12. We're going to go through a lot of themes today. There's a lot of themes to this day. Actually, it's an interesting day, the day of trumpets, the day of shouting. This is a day that's believed that at His return, there's going to be a resurrection. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before the throne. And the books were opened. And another book was opened, which was the book of life. And the dead were judged out of these things which were written in the books, according to the works. Which book are we going to be written in? See, we have an opportunity here through Teruah to turn our life around. Yahweh is always looking at you from the point of view of not destruction, but no matter how far you have fallen in this world of life, wherever your position is, He looks at you from that point upward, like he's wanting you to turn around and come forward from where you're at. He's never looking at you to go down. He's never trying to put you down. He's trying to bring you up. And that's the way we should be towards one another. We should be trying to pull each other up. If possible, in all this, in whatever way we can. Moving with all our heart to love our neighbor. You know, when you look at the Shema prayer, you know that it's followed by what's called the Haftarah. I don't know if y'all have ever done the Shema Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto, the Olam Vayed. You know, Yahweh Elohim, Yahweh is one. Blessed be the name of his glorious kingdom forever and ever. That's followed with V'ahavta et Elohecha, Kol Navasheka, Kol Navadecha. And you shall love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your very being. That is known as a Shema. And that's where we need to be, following Yahweh with all we have. And I don't know if y'all know it, but in Mark 12, and I want to go there. Mark 12. I don't know how to get this back. Mark 12, let's go to 28. Mark 12, 28. And one of the scribes came, having heard the reasoning together, and perceived that he had answered them well, and asked which is the first commandment of law. This is where you don't go through how do I enter into life and keep the commandments. You know, and Yeshua answered him and said, the first of all commandments is this. He quotes the Shema here. Hear, O Israel. Hear, O Israel. Yahweh Elohim, Yahweh is one. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto the Olam Vayed. He quotes that. Blessed be the name of the Lord's King. That's the answer to that. But anyway, he quotes the Shema here. And you shall love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your understanding, and with all your strength. This is the first commandment. And he goes on to say, you shall love Yahweh with and the second is name you like as you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Which a lot of people feel is an addition to it, but I want to go to let's go to Leviticus 22:19.
It's 1918. It's 1918. There you go.
There you go, 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am Yahweh. Did y'all know that that was Old Testament? That there's nothing added to the law? To love your neighbor as yourself. When we Teruah, there's a thing about wrongs that have been committed against Yahweh are corrected between you and Yahweh, but wrongs corrected against your fellow man have to be reconciled between you and your fellow man. Therefore, it's customary during this time to ask forgiveness of people that may have been the one that wronged you. In other words, you go first to the person and ask him forgiveness and try to reconcile back in the higher ground. They try to reconcile your differences if possible to make an effort to be restored to your brother. You know, when it says, when you bring your guilt to the altar, and you know that your brother has wrought against you, leave your guilt there before the altar. Go be reconciled to your brother, and then come and offer you. So during this period, it's customary to go to people and ask for forgiveness, even though they're the ones that wronged you. Is that a weird thing? You never know how people are going to react, but you may have one your brother. For some reason, we have a real hard time getting along in Messianic church. We can take all kinds of stuff in the world, but my brother says something, thing to me, I get all bent out of shape and all tore up, and boo-hoo-hoo, it destroys my world. I don't have anything to do with them or ever speak to them for the next 50 years. We got to get beyond that. We got to get beyond the petty, whatever, little things. And I want to tell you about the 3 peace tribes. This year, they have been horrendous. We have suffered a lot of people just being on edge, believe it or not. And people just being a little snippy, and people really just got to have their feelings hanging out. Because Satan is very proactive. Don't think he's not. He's extremely proactive before he comes back. Not just in the fall, but in the spring also. And he wants to destroy you, destroy your brother, destroy yourself. He does not want your name written in that book. He wants your destruction. And that's his goal. And he's good at what he does because he understands human nature. He understands if I can get them snipping at each other, I can hide them. Well, that's all it takes. And get them a little unhappy with each other and get them going on. Oh my goodness. Let's go back to Revelation 20. Where do we stop? 13? Yeah, those things written in the book and their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death, the grave, delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged, every man according to their works. And death and the grave were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. Do we really believe this? Or do we believe that once saved, always saved? He just does. He just always does. I don't have to keep his law. See that little effeminate guy in that picture? You know, I go kick sand in his face on the beach and make fun of him. He doesn't. He so much I can do whatever I want. I think those people are going to be sadly mistaken on the day when he returns. Go to Hosea 14. Oh. Hosea 14. O Israel, return to Yahweh your Elohim. They have fallen. You have fallen by your iniquity. Take with you words. That word there is devarim. Take with you devarim. Look at Deuteronomy. Take with you devarim. And turn to Yahweh. Saith to him, take away all the iniquity. Receive us graciously. So we'll remember the calves of our lips. That speak the calves of our lips somewhere in the New Testament?
Yep.
The offering of our lips, isn't it?
Hebrews
Do we offer those up to Yahweh? The calves of our lips? Have we taken this law? The sure shall not save us. We will not ride upon the horses, neither will we say any more to the works of our hands, you are our Elohim. Don't we think we're blessed that, look what I've done. Look what I made. Look how great I am. Look at the empire I built. I'm so wonderful. You are our Elohim. For thee the fatherless findeth not, or in thee the fatherless findeth mercy. I will heal their backside. I will love them freely, for my anger is turned away from him. I will be as the dew unto Israel. He shall grow as the lily, and cast forth his roots as Lebanon. His branches shall spread, and his beauty shall be as the olive tree, and his smell as Lebanon. They shall dwell under his shadow, shall return. They that dwell under his shadow shall return. They shall revive as the corn, and grow as the vine. The hymns themselves shall be as the wine of Lebanon. Ephraim shall shake, what have I to do any more with idols? Are we Ephraim? I think probably Ephraim, and I think this country is so steeped in idols we don't even recognize them when we look at them because they're so plentiful here. We turn everything, an automobile, a house, a job, we turn everything into an idol. Anything that stands between you and Yahweh, I don't care what it is, anything that stands between you and following Yahweh is an idol. You just put it above Yahweh. Whether it's a job, a day of work. People don't even realize what they're doing. They say, yeah, I'll die for him. Won't give up a day's work, but I'll die for him. Right? They deceive themselves. See, they're sitting down. It's like sitting down at the poker table and folding your hand on the ante-up ramp. When the stakes get high, you're not even in the game. You folded your hand way back there. You're not even going to do the little things for them. And if you won't do these little things, I assure you, you will not do the big things. Because when pressure comes on you, you're going to fold like a house of cards. You're going to just fold it up. It ain't going to happen. They're going to say, what do I do with idols anymore? I have heard him and observed him. I'm like a green fir tree, for me there is fruit found. Who is wise? And he shall understand these things. Prudent, and he shall know them. For the ways of Yahweh are right, and the just shall walk in them. But the transgressors shall fall therein. I'm sorry about my allergy. Having a hard time with them. There's a rabbinic thing that they do on this day. It's called Tashalit. Y'all know what that is? It's a custom of casting your sin away. Basically, they go, well, let's go to Micah 7. They read Micah 7:18. Basically, they go to a body of water, and they'll cast breadcrumbs, or they'll throw white stones into the body of water. And it's symbolism of casting away your sin. It's just a symbolic thing that they do. And they quote this verse here. Who is like unto thee, that pardons iniquity and passes by the transgressors of the remnant of his heritage? He retaineth not his anger forever, because he delights in mercy. He will turn again. He will have compassion upon us. He will subdue our iniquities. And that will cast all their sins. We will cast all their sins in the depths of the sea. And that's what they do. They cast off their sins this day in a symbolic way. We don't need symbolism. We need the real thing. We need to cast off our sins. To turn. to truly Teshuvah. Like it said, with all your heart, all your soul, with all your mind, with everything you've got, serve God. You know, the Jews call this Rosh Hashanah, head of the year. There's been a lot written this year against that. I mean, I've seen more written against it this year now. In years past. But I do believe that there may be something to this sealing yourself for the year, or maybe forever, on this day. Now, we really should maybe take a little bit of this, because one day it will be the real deal. Someday it will be the real thing. Whether you look at it that way or not. I don't want to say much about the head of the year, as far as obviously it's not the start of the year. That's the start of the year in the spring. But YomTeruah has long been believed to be the day of the return of the Messiah. And let's go to Revelation 19. And we'll start with 6. And I heard as it were a voice of a great multitude, and the voice of many waters, and the voice of mighty thundering, saying, Hallelujah, for Yahweh El Shaddai reigneth. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor unto him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and the wife has made herself ready. Is he coming on this day for his bride?
Yes.
Yes.
He is, isn't he? Is this picture of this day? Is he talking about this day here? And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for fine linen is the righteousness of the saints. Are we dressed properly for the wedding? And saith unto me, Right, blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he saith unto me, These are the true sayings of Elohim. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said to me, See thou, do it not. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yeshua, worship Elohim. For the testimony of Yeshua is the spirit of prophecy. And I saw heavens opened, and behold a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. That make war side of this coming is one that a lot of people don't like to look at either. He's not just coming back to get his bride. He's coming back to take vengeance on the evil of this world. His eyes were the flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written on it that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dappled in blood, and his name is called the Word of Elohim. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the wide press of the fierceness of the wrath of El Shaddai. And on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Sovereign of Sovereigns. That's going to happen, isn't it?
Yes.
Wow. Can you imagine that day? It was pretty powerful, isn't it? 1 Thessalonians 4:16. Actually, there's a lot of info here about him coming. 1 Thessalonians 4:16. For the Master himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, and with the voice of an archangel, and with the trumpet of Yahweh, and the dead in Messiah shall rise first. With a shout. and with the trumpet. He's coming. 1 Corinthians 15:52. What a magnificent, what a glorious day that will be. That's a good old Protestant hymn, isn't it? And it will be. I tell you what, it's going to be some excitement going on. Yeah. In a moment, the twinkling of an eye, the last trumpet, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. At that trumpet. The day of Trump is. Matthew 24:31. And he shall send his angel with the great sound of a trumpet. Somebody blow the show for my goodness, man. Whew. And they shall gather together the elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. The day of trumpet. This day is going to symbolize the vast turning point in world history. It's going to be a pivotal change between the age of man and darkness and Satan and the age of Elohim and the world tomorrow and the millennial reign. Can y'all see that great transition? Boom! The resurrection. This day is also the coronation of the Messiah, isn't it? What do y'all think? The day he becomes king?
Yeah.
You think that'll be a great thing that'll happen? The coronation?
Yeah, because in the next 10 days or 10 days of awe, maybe he's going to kick butt.
Let's go to Revelations 11:15. And the seventh thing, this is the end of the seventh trumpet. The seventh trumpet plays in Revelation. This is kind of getting to the last trumpet. The seventh angel sounded, there was great voices in heaven. I don't know if that would have been a shout or not. The great voices in heaven, they shout to accompany this trumpet. I don't know if y'all caught that in the other one, the shout. But great voices in heaven, and the kingdoms of this world have become the kingdoms of our sovereign and of his Messiah, and he shall reign forever and ever. That is Leon Vaed in the Hebrew, forever into perpetuity, forever. The end of his reign shall not cease. At the end of the last trumpet, he takes over. From Psalms 98, verse 6. With trumpets and sound of cornet, make a joyful noise before Yahweh the King. Let the seas roar, and the fullness thereof of the world, and they that dwell therein. Let the floods clap their hands, let the hills be joyful before Yahweh, for he cometh to judge the earth with righteousness. Shall he judge the world and the people with equity. It's going to happen. This day is commanded in Leviticus 23. Let's go to Leviticus 23:24. There are pivotal scriptures for the holy days, Leviticus 23. Speaking to the children of Israel, saying, the seventh month, and the first day of the month, you shall have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing the trumpet, a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein, but you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. Did you know that when you see that offering made by fire to Yahweh, you can check this in the Hebrew, a lot of people, you kind of might have to get a little deeper than strong, but that offering also means to approach, that word. And fire means fire, and Yahweh means Yahweh. So it can actually be rendered to approach Yahweh's fire. And when you approach Yahweh's fire, you better be in good graces with him. You don't want to end up in the fire. You want to be on the right side of the fire. Remember that Lazarus and the rich man? We're going to get to approach the fire. They're going to get chunked in the fire. Numbers 29, another command where we're commanded this day to be with Yahweh. And in the seventh month, on the first day of the month, you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no service or work, and it is a day of blowing the trumpets unto you. And you shall offer a burnt offering. So, this is the day we approach Yahweh. There's a thing about this being a hidden day, a day that no man knows the day and the hour, and we've all seen that. But I want to go to 1 Thessalonians 5:1, and I think it's from a couple of weeks ago, about how these times and seasons, 1 Thessalonians 5, we're 1 through 4 here. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write it to you. So we understand these times and seasons, don't we?
Yes.
The picture that these holy days represent. That this is the day of his coming to judge the world. And all the things associated with the trumpet blast and the shout. For you yourselves so perfectly clear, the day of Yahweh comes in the thief of the night. For when they say peace and safety, such destruction comes upon them as the traveler upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But you, brethren, are not in darkness, that they should overtake you as a thief in the night, because we are of the light. We know the times and seasons, so we know when he's coming back. He also says, you are my friends, and I let my friends know what I'm doing. I'm not going to leave my friends in darkness. Go ahead, Rick.
I just thought of a verse in Amos, I think it is. He says, surely Yahweh will do nothing without first making it known to his servants.
That's right.
Yeah, that's awesome. I just say that's awesome.
Yeah. Messiah said that to his disciples. I'm leaving you, and I'll call you friends, because I will let you know what I'm going to do. In other words, that he's going to inform you of what he's going to do. So, that's something on. This day is hidden. I have, that little disc right there, that little drive, would you put that in? I have a thing on there by Eddie Shumley. So he's written a little thing here about the hidden day. And I want to read what Eddie Shumley wrote here about the hidden day. This hidden day. He says in Psalms 27:5 it is written, In the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret of his tabernacle he shall hide me. He shall set me upon a rock. There's a lot of verses that go into this hidden or hidden day, and he's hiding me away in various places. This hiding away. A lot of people use a lot of these verses as what they call it, rapture verses. That he's going to take them out, and you can go research a bunch of those. Seek ye Yahweh, all you meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It be you shall hide in the day of Yahweh. It shall be you shall be hid in the day of Yahweh's anger. There's another one, Zephaniah 2:3. Another name for Rosh Hashanah is Yom HaKish, the day of hiding, the hidden day. The term Kishi, and they just spelled it different than else, Kishi, is derived from the Hebrew word. Yeah, thank you. Which means to conceal, to cover, or hide. Every morning during the month of Yule, the trumpet is blown to warn the people to turn back to Yahweh, except on the 30th day of Yule, the day preceding Rosh Hashanah. On that day, the trumpet, the shofar, is not blown, and is therefore silent. This is to teach us that the day of Rosh Hashanah is concealed or hidden. That's Psalms 81:3 uses that word right there, to conceal, when it's talking about that day. It means to cover or conceal in Psalms 81:3. Now the new version of the scriptures puts conceal in there. In Psalms 81:3, the old version used a different name. Most translations use the word cover and put full moon there. And the reason they translated full moon is they say, well, the moon's covered with light. Briefly go to 81:3. Do you have that in the scriptures? They have it in the King James or whatever.
King James one, and I know that the New King James one is one that changed.
Now, the New King James is different than the Old King James has the appointed time, doesn't it? What has the appointed time?
The old new moon in the time appointed.
The time appointed. That's the Old King James?
No, King James, yes.
The time appointed.
4150.
Time appointed.
See, they're all over the place on how to translate that, but the word really means to conceal.
Psalm
You can
81.
anybody get
Rick. Psalm 81.
a good dictionary and look that up, and you'll see that that's where the new,
81.
what the hell, Roger?
Blow a shofar in the new moon, in the covering for the day of our festival.
In the covering of the day of our festival. They translated covering there. The one previously, this has at the time the appointed for the solemn feast day, 81:3. Blow the trumpet in the new moon in the time appointed on the solemn feast day. See, it has new moon in there, but that the New King James translate that in the full moon. Is the way they translate it. Okay. This hidden day, or this time appointed. Let's go back to Eddie's article, if you would. And we're going with the thought there. Rosh Hashanah is hidden from Satan so that he will not know about the arrival of Rosh Hashanah, also called the Day of Judgment, or Yom Hadin. The thought here is Yahweh has hidden the destruction from Satan so that he doesn't know his fate is coming. In other words, the day's been hidden from him, the day of his destruction has been hidden from Satan. So he's going to be hanging out that day, easy to nail. Go ahead.
So we're told that he knows that he has but a short time.
Right.
You know,
He knows his time.
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, this is a lot of rabbinic theology here, believe it or not. Because Rosh Hashanah is concealed is another reason for the understanding of the phrase, no one knows the day or the hour spoken by Yeshua in Matthew 24:36. To our Western minds, 2436, spoken by Yeshua, means that you cannot know when the Messiah will return. From a Jewish mind, this was an idiom for Rosh Hashanah. Therefore, he is telling us he will return on future Rosh Hashanah, on the concealed day, on the hidden day. Are y'all seeing that?
Yes.
At the concealment? That's another where we get the Yom HaKish, the day. See, when Messiah returns, and here's the point I try to make, you know, what the New King James translates 81:3, that's the new moon? Or at the concealed moon? Yeah, the New King James translate that as new moon. Did you have New King James?
Nope.
You don't have that on there?
I do,
You do?
mine says, this is 81:3. Blow the trumpet at the time of the new moon, at the full moon, on our solemn feast.
Yeah. And the new moon at the full moon. Go ahead.
On First Chronicles 23:31, it says, "And to offer all burnt offerings and sacrifices to the Master in the Sabbaths, in the new moons, on the set feast, and numbered according to the order of commandments unto them continued with the Lord." It says, in the new moons, it's got and that's on the set feast. The new moons.
Y'all go to 10, Numbers 10.
This is First Chronicles.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, that's when
First
that
Chronicles, yeah,
was
First
in.
Chronicles 23:31.
Hold on to that. Let's go to Numbers 10. Oh, we're going to go there first. Okay, we'll go there first. That's okay. And to stand every morning to thank and praise Yahweh likewise at even, and to offer burnt offerings unto Yahweh on the Sabbaths, the new moons, and on the set feasts by the number according to the order of the command, them continually before Yahweh. They should keep the charge of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the charge of the holy place, the charge of the sons there and their brothers, and the service of the house of God. So let's go to Numbers 10. No, let's go to Numbers 10. We may start down about the middle, somewhere about the middle. 8, verse 7. There you go. But when the congregation is to be gathered together, you shall blow, but you shall sound an alarm. Back up. There you go. When you blow an alarm the second time, the captain lies, it's coming back blowing their alarm on their journey. But when the congregation is to be gathered together, you shall blow. Let's go down. But you shall not sound an alarm. And when the sons of the priests shall blow the trumpet, and they shall be gathered for an ordinance forever throughout your generations. And if you go to war in your land against your enemies, that oppose you, you shall blow an alarm with the trumpets, and you shall be remembered. You know, today is the Zikron, too, the memorial of blowing the trumpet. Right there, that word Zikron is that remembrance. It means to remember. To be remembered before Yahweh. When you blow that trumpet, Yahweh remembers us. And He remembers what we've done. In other words, it's a remembrance of Yahweh. We're being remembered. Go ahead, Ricky.
I just wonder, do you think that when Joshua at Jericho, that blowing the shofars, right? Do you think that could have been around about this time of year?
That was in the spring at Passover. But it was accompanied with a shout.
Yeah.
See, there's this shout that's associated with this blowing. And there they had a shout, and they blew, and the walls fell out. So there's
power.
yeah, actually there's a lot of duality between the fall and the spring feast. The order of the spring feast and the order of the fall feast, there's a lot of duality in those, believe it or not. Before we look at atonement in the spring, we look at atonement in the fall, there's a lot of kind of overlapping there. And when you go to war in your land against your enemies that oppose you, you shall blow with the alarm and the trumpets, and you shall be remembered before Yahweh Elohim, and you shall be safe from your enemies in the day of your gladness, in your solemn days, And in the beginning of your months, you shall blow the trumpet over the burnt offerings, over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for a memorial before your Elohim, Yahweh or Elohim. So we blow these trumpets as a memorial before Yahweh on all these days. This day is not going to be a happy day. And this thing about Psalms 81:3 and the new moon and the day of trumpets, when he returns, let's go to Amos 5:18. The point I like to make is those that think they have to see the day, the moon on this day, they seem to think that we can't possibly know the day without seeing the moon. But we're going to look at Amos 5:18 first, which I don't know if that's going to go there. Woe to those that desire the day of Yahweh, to what end is it? The day of Yahweh is darkness and not light. If a man flee from a lion and a bear meet him, or he went into a house and leaned his hand on the wall and a serpent bit him, shall not the day of Yahweh be darkness and no light in it, even very darkness, no brightness in it? I despise your feast days. I will not smell your solemn assemblies. Though you offer me burnt offerings and meat offerings, I will not accept them. Neither I will regard the peace offerings or your fast feast. Take thou away from me the noise of thy song, for I will not hear the melody of your violas. But let judgment run down as water, and righteousness as a mighty stream. Have you offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness 40 years, O house of Israel? But you have worn the tabernacle of your Molech, and Kun, your image, the star of your Elohim, which you made to yourself. Therefore I will cause you to go into captivity beyond that, Damascus, said Yahweh, whose name is Elohim. There, Yahweh is not a pleasant one. Go to Amos, let's go to Joel 2, 31. We'll read a few passages in Joel here. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of Yahweh to come. And it shall come to pass that who shall call on the name of Yahweh shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as Yahweh has said, in the remnant whom Yahweh shall call. So we want to be with that remnant. Let's go down to Joel 3:14. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars will withdraw their shining. Yahweh will roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem. And the heavens and the earth shall be taken, and Yahweh will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. And they shall know that I am Yahweh your Elohim, who dwells in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall be no stranger pass through her anymore. It's going to be a day of darkness. Matthew 24:29. Go through a little bit more. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. They shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, for they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and with great majesty. Now that just told you that the moon is not going to give us light. The other one's talking about darkness, and the sun being dark, and there being no light in the day, and the haziness. There's also another passage in Joel, I don't have it here, where it also says the moon will not give its light. It's mentioned again in Joel. But there's two places where it says the moon's not gonna be seen on this day. So, for those that know they live on Crescent, I tend to have a problem with these passages and the day of trumpets associated with that. To me, it doesn't add up. In Psalms 81:3, being the day of the covering of the moon. And I think you can research that one too, as far as the covering. We can look at Acts 2:20. And the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and notable day of Yahweh to come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahweh shall be saved. There is a lot placed on that new moon. There we go. I believe we all pretty much believe that it's going to be a new moon. There may be some argument about what it is. Colossians 2:16 talks about these things being a shadow. So the new moon should teach us something about Messiah, shouldn't it? That no man therefore judge you in meat, drink, or respect of a holy day, or a new moon, or the Sabbath day, which are a shadow of things to come, but the body of the Messiah. These are shadows of the body of Messiah, this new moon. So there's some substance there. You want to say something, Ricky?
In Isaiah 66, verse 23, it says, "And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith Yahweh."
I just read this last night. I can't remember exactly what chapter it is, but it's Yehezkel, Ezekiel 30-something. And it was talking about the watchman on the wall and blowing of the trumpets. That's in reference to this day as well, is it not?
Well, I believe that the pending doom that we're to warn people about is this day. Because if we don't warn them that this is really going to happen and their doom is going to come on, then the blood's on their hands. We have to warn them that. Or their blood. When Paul in Acts said, "I'm free of the blood of all men because I've not failed to give you the full counsel of Elohim." What Paul's saying there is, I have actually delivered to you and warned you of all things. And that's another thing that bothers me about a lot of people that don't want to approach controversial things in this day and age. I can understand if they're unsure, they wouldn't approach them, but a lot of them won't even tell you what days they keep because they don't want to polarize people. And there's a lot of teachers out there that will not even tell you what days they keep or what calendar they keep because it's not good for the pocketbook. That's my opinion. That you split people or people say, "Oh, he keeps that in his place."
Well, if I can remember where it was, it also talks about the clouds, the clouds being darkened. And then I was thinking if we're to warn people, every time we do this, we're practicing, right, for the real day, and that perhaps that's how we're warning them. Somebody in here said that when they blew the shofar last night, that the neighbor poked their head out the window. So maybe that neighbor will come to him and say, "Hey, what was that about?" And then you can warn them, right?
I think we should. I think we should, if we can. You can only give people what they can accept. that's why I think we should try to tell them what we can. So, I would agree with that. The new moon and the shadow of the new moon here in Colossians, being the substance of the new moon, that we should learn something about the new moon. We should represent the new moon, or the substance of the body of the Messiah, is that we are all born in darkness. We come from darkness, we evolve from darkness. The world was made in darkness. Just like this new moon coming forth from darkness to light, we are the same as we come forth from darkness to light. And as we are little bitty babies in the Messiah, we start to shine a little bitty bit after we're born again and come into covenant and all of those things. But as we grow, we shine more, hopefully. And that growth is the same as the new moon, the Hodesh. And the word Hodesh, new moon, means to renew, or to be renewed. To start in darkness and come forth into light. And I believe that that's the way this world is. The day starts in darkness, the world started in darkness, and no more than light comes forth. So, maybe I'll just leave that alone there, huh? It's believed that this day is a day that the books are open and the doors of heaven are open. And we get that opportunity to enter in. Let's go to Ezekiel 46:1. And there's a picture here of the temple. Ezekiel 46:1. Thus saith the sovereign Yahweh, the gates to the inner court that looketh toward thee shall be shut before midnight. But on the Sabbath it shall be open, and the day of the new moon it shall be open. Now I kind of feel like that these Sabbath days were commanded to be here. The new moons are optional. A lot of people feel they're optional. But are they really optional? Here's the thing about having the heart to be with Yahweh. It's kind of like the middle days of the feast. You're not commanded to be there. You're commanded to keep a feast, but you're not commanded to appear before it. In other words, it's not a formal meeting. You know, you be in my office this time, this day, whatever. There's a formal meeting on Shabbat, on these 7 annual high days. But there's other days like the new moon where there's no command to be there, except for this day. We have all the other new moons, but Yahweh's saying, hey, I'm going to open the door to my house and I'm going to invite you to come. You're not commanded to come. I'm just going to see, do you want to come? And guess what? A lot of people don't have the heart to come. Nah, I don't have to. I'm going to play hooky. I don't want to go with Yahweh. He no fun. It's kind of like the middle days of the feast. You want to be at the feast with Yahweh? He says, hey, I'm going to be there. You want to come hang out with me? Nah, I've got better things to do. Like a marriage supper, I've got other things more important to do. Revelation 3:8. Revelation 3:8. Who wants to hang out with Yahweh? I know your works, and behold, I have set before thee an open door that no man can shut, for thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. Is there an open door set before us? In other words, when we look at the parable of the 5 foolish virgins and the 5 wise virgins, we kind of have a picture of a door. And somebody coming, and 5 of them not getting to go through the door. He's talking about the faithful church here, by the way, if you want to know which group of those 7 in Revelation he's talking about here. He's talking about the faithful that have that open door set before us. Are we going to be part of that faithful? We can go through that door. Revelation 4:1. After this I looked, and behold, the door was open in heaven, and the first voice which I heard was the word of trumpet, talking with me, which said, Come up hither, and I will show you the things which take place hereafter. Think maybe that's on the day of trumpet? I don't know. You know, there's trumpets all over. Go to Revelation 1:10, just right quick for this trumpet thing. Revelation 1:10. This is when John had his vision right here, okay? This is where he had his vision. And I was in the spirit of the Master's day, and I heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet, saying, I am the Aleph Tav, right, Jerry? The first and the last. That's somebody speaking there, and the voice is as a trumpet. Let's go to Matthew 25 right quick. I'm going to go back to the door thing about the door. There's all kinds of stuff about doors being open and
Which verse?
Let's go to Matthew 25:10. Let's just read that right. This is the parable of the 10 virgins, Matthew 25:10. And when they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went with him into the marriage, and the door was shut. So the shutting of the door, the opening of the door. This day pictures the door being open, and on atonement, the shutting of the door. We have the opportunity to go through the door on these days. We know in John 10:7, you don't have to go there. Messiah says he is the door. He's the doorway. You're going to come through that door. He's going to be the one that you're going to come to. We can open the gates of righteousness. We know that this is the day that the books are open, and that Yahweh comes with us. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Went through the concealment of the day. The day of Yahweh. Let's go to Joel 2. I want to read Joel 2, that passage, before we get out of this. Joel 2, we'll start at 1. Blow the trumpet in Zion, and sound the alarm on my holy mountain, and all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds, of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and strong. There hath not been ever the like, neither shall there be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devours before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as a garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and its horsemen, so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devours the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pained. All places shall be gathered blackness. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like mighty men of war. And they shall march every one in his way. And they shall not break their own ranks. Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. They shall run to and fro in the city, and they shall run upon the walls. They shall climb up on the houses, and they shall enter in through the window like a thief. The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And Yahweh will utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great, for he is strong that executeth his word. For the day of Yahweh is great and very terrible. Who can abide it? Therefore, also now saith Yahweh, turn ye even unto me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning, and rend your heart, and not your garments. Turn unto Yahweh your Elohim, and he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, of great kindness. Repent. He repenteth him of the evil. Who knoweth if he will return and repent and leave a blessing behind him? Even a meat offering and a drink offering unto Yahweh your Elohim. Blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify it fast, call us all. That's what we're supposed to do. Fast and pray. You know, my house should be called the house of prayer. Y'all ever heard that one?
Yes.
You know, prayer and fasting is very unpopular in people. Nobody wants to fast and pray, do they? That's old Bobby Dodd, ain't it? Man, that's it. We don't do none of that. We want to party. Party, party. Today shall be called the day of shouting. You know, the word Teruah actually means shout. Or can be translated shout. It can be translated in a whole bunch of different ways. The word Teruah is not just the sound, it's the sound of the trumpet. The trumpet Teruah, Teruah, or make that noise. But it's also translated not as blowing of a trumpet, it's translated as the word jubilee. Did y'all know that? The word Teruah? That's in Leviticus 25:9. The word for jubilee there, translated jubilee in the King James. I don't know how it is in the scripture, but in the King James, it's translated jubilee. In Numbers 10, in verse 5, it's translated as an alarm. In Numbers 23:21, it's translated as the shout of a king. It's translated as a great shout in quite a few places. It's translated as the sound of the trumpet in 2 Chronicles 13:12. It can be the shout of joy, and it can be translated as rejoicing in Job 8:21. Y'all can look all these up. This is all the word Teruah. That one word. It's translated in all these ways in King James. It's translated as high-sounding cymbals, the alarm of war, and just shouting, just plain shouting. Amos 2:2, it's translated shouting. Just bring up 2, Amos 2:2. Let me say, lots in fire upon mine, devoured the places of Koreth, and shall be with the trumpet, and with shouting, with teruahing, and the sound of the trumpet. Teruahing and the sound of the trumpet. Some places it's that great shout is the word teruah, the word YomTeruah. Now the Hymn Gordon goes so far as to say that this word should be translated the day of shouting, instead of calling it teruah, because we understand what shouting is. My contention is that when the Messiah returns, everybody on this planet is going to be making noise. It's whether your shout is going to be one of joy and acclamation, or is your shout going to be one of war, or one of uh-oh, or holy smoke. What's your shout going to be? Are you going to be part of the people that is out there, you know, like the old war pictures where the people would come, the Allies was coming through Europe, and the people out there were, yay! You know, they were cheering them on. Are you going to be one of those? Or are you going to be one of the people, like it says, are crawling in the rocks of the earth, and the dens and the caves of the earth, to hide from the face of him that's coming? There's a lot of those mentioned. Which camp are you going to be? I hope we're in the ones that are shouting for joy, not the ones that are shouting the other way. Jeremiah 4:19. We'll look at this right quick. Oh, my bowels, I am pinned at my very heart. My heart maketh a noise in me. I cannot hold my peace, because thou hast heard, O my soul, the sound of the trumpet, the alarm of war. Destruction upon destruction is cried, for the whole land is full. Teruah, the day of shouting, acclamation. Everybody, when he comes, it says the heaven's going to roll back like a scroll and he's going to reveal himself. Peekaboo. Can you imagine? Wow. Everybody is going to be making noises. The really sad part of this day is that there's really not only 2 camps, there's 3 camps. There are those that are written about that think they're part of the day and are not. Those are Matthew 7:22. There's this 3rd camp. And I think there's a lot of people that's going to be in this camp here that's going to have an oh boy day. They think they're with it, but they're not. Many will say to me that day, Sovereign, Sovereign, did we not prophesy in thy name? And in thy name cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And I'll profess to them, I never knew you, depart from me, you that work iniquity. We do not want to be in that camp.
So there, what is iniquity?
That's right.
What is iniquity?
Lawlessness. Those that practice lawlessness. I believe that that's the camp of the world that says the law is done away with. And they may be doing a lot of wonderful works. They may be casting out devils. They may be doing things in His name. And they may be doing a lot of stuff. But
So, I mean, this is very heavy and very dark. And it seems like our Father takes this very, very seriously, obviously. And it's not what we think, it's not what we feel, it's not what we know, it's what we do that determines if we're in Him. If we are on the good side and not these bad sides. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness, for I never knew you. Or He cast them into the lake of fire. Those 2 groups, we don't want to be a part of that, but it's what we do that determines which group we're in, isn't it?
it is. And where do you want to be? This group here, did they fail to study? I mean, it says study to show yourself approved. Did they fail to study? I know a lot of people have argued with you face to face, toe to toe, that's never read the book.
And in thy name done many wonderful works.
Yep.
Now, I grew up thinking that the more works you do, the more dinners you take to people's homes, the more you do, the more you do, the more you do, that you will have a higher place in heaven. And that's not true.
No. We keep the law because we love Him, and that's His instructions for us to be in His house. If you are not following His instructions, if you're not keeping the rules of His house, you're not going to be in His house. You may think you are, but you're not. You can dissuade yourself on this earth all you want that I'm whatever I think I am. A lot of people think a lot of themselves. There's not a lot of humility with people. And a lot of people think they're okay when they're not. Read the lay of the sins. I'm rich, I feel good, and they need nothing, right? They don't know that they're poor, miserable, blind, and naked.
Right.
We tend to, yep, in a bad way. Anyway, Yahweh be with us and Yahweh bless us. There's just a million scriptures that you can go through on this day and talk about all kinds of things. Yeah. Oh, Ricky?
I just had a question before we wrap it up. In Revelation 2, verse 10.
Don't leave this yet, because I got something on this.
Go ahead.
Why you doing?
The word, you have done these things in thy name, it does not say my name, or the Father's name, or the Son's name. It's a generic, you've done these things in a generic name.
Exactly.
Lord, or God, or Jesus, or this is not the Father's name that these people have done these things in, or the Son's name. They placed a generic title for the works.
If they knew the law, it wouldn't be the case.
Right, yeah.
That's why they're in the place where they're at.
Hey, you know, where we're at.
Hey, that's true.
Nice people shall know my name.
I think how, even if, let's say, which I've always thought this way, how could they have done it? And I'm thinking they are using his name. But no, bear with me though. For years, it's like they were doing this in his actual name, but they still, just because they said they were doing it, doesn't mean he was condoning it and backing it up or whatever. Just because you say I've done this does not make it so. Like I can say, well, I've done this all my life. That doesn't make it so. And I know a lot of people that use the names to say they've done stuff, and it's like just, I don't see it in their works or their results or anything else. So does that make it so? Just because they use a name, the right name even?
Well, somewhere else it says, when you're talking about casting out the devils, it says, by the power of devils do they cast out devils.
Mhm.
Well, there's power in all names.
All names.
In all names. Even the kingdom of darkness, in them names, there's power in it. So you get a miracle that one if you want to do.
Yeah. I really don't know. I love viewpoints in scripture where we can read into it either way we want to go. Whether they're using the real name or not, obviously they were not keeping the law.
No.
Well, but until I knew the power, until I knew the complete emphasis of the name, I always thought, well, how could they not be doing it?
Yeah, but when you understood the
Right,
name.
until
the
I
power of
understood the name,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Jerry wants that.
It could very easily be that they have done a lot of great things, but they didn't keep his sacraments, they didn't keep his holy 20 times, so he never knew them.
Right,
They were not there to meet him.
yeah.
And that
We
breaks
don't
my
really
heart.
know, but I'm not saying, I would not venture to say that doing those things is wrong or bad. Doing those things may be very good. I just need to have other things in my life that causes me to have a relationship with him.
Obviously, they were doing things that they thought was going to get them miracles before the sign, or whatever that was. Maybe, the Masons, which I understand is a very bad organization, builds a children's hospital.
They do good works.
Didn't we do a great thing? I'm not saying what they're doing is bad, but they're definitely not keeping Yahweh's law.
What were their motives? I was just talking about this, it makes me think of Amos 3:3, where it talks about can two walk together except they are.
Yes,
except
they
they
agree.
agree.
Yeah.
It's like if you look back in like when Moses or Noah walked with him, he was in agreement with him. If you can't be in agreement with his ways, then you're not walking with him, you're walking contrary to that.
It's my contention that Well, the Messiah, again, was when they're calling the Messiah and says, your brother, your sister, you know, your family's outside wanting to speak to you. And he says, who's my brother, who's my sister, who's my mother, who's my family? He says, those that do the will of my Father, or my brother, my sister, my family. So when we stood at the mountain, and the context of all of that is as though we were there. In other words, we were there and we made it through. Not that our forefathers made it for us, which they did, but the thrust is it's the same as if we were standing there. When we stood before that mountain, we received the law. And I think our understanding of the law comes to us. We enter into covenant with Him and are given understanding we become part of the family. Those that do the will of God. If we do it, if we follow that, we become part of His household, literally part of His household.
Amen.
He knows you.
Amen.
You're not just somebody out there that's doing great things in His name. Now, I believe there's a lot of people doing a lot of great things. A lot of wonderful things for mankind. There's a lot of philanthropists that do a lot of great things, but do they know Yahweh? Probably not.
And you can be disinherited too, can
If we want to be part of His household, you know how to be part of His household, and that's keep the law, and then we can be His servant. And the thrust is that a servant that keeps his master's. There's also the analogy of the servant. The good servant becomes part of the master's household if he's true to the son. There's a son. It talks about him being as a son. Well,
It was Revelation 2:10, question about.
2:10?
Yeah. It says there will be tribulation for 10 days. And I seen the days of awe between trumpets and atonement, there's 10 days there, and I'm just, what do you think about this?
Yeah. Now, believe me, Satan does not want you to Teruah. He doesn't want you to turn around. He wants to throw all obstacles in your way he can. And he wants to destroy you through anybody that he has control of. And, buddy, they'll shoot the firebrands and the arrows at you. Don't think they won't. You better get ready.
Well, on your subject, I was thinking the same thing. You said a couple minutes ago about that door being opened. So I'm kind of wondering, during the 10 days of awe, is if maybe that door is open for those 10 days, and then, the days of awe. So maybe at the same time that bad things are happening, that maybe healing, the lame are going to walk and the blind are going to see, and all these fantastic things that are happening as a last-ditch effort to get the non-believers to get it. And they got those 10 days before Kippur to Teshuvah.
Actually, the picture coming up, this is my reasoning, that when we come before the mountain and receive the law at Pentecost, and the children of Israel were put into the wilderness to be tested. If we qualify, then at Trumpets, we don't go into the day of awe. We're prepared. We are the 5 wise, and we go through that door. We never go into the days of awe. If you're a wise virgin, if you're ready when he comes back on this day, you're already atoned for. You don't need atonement. Are y'all seeing that? You're already atoned for because you're going to be changed in the twinkling of an eye. You're a part of that wise group that has already been prepped. You're there. You're with him. It's those that aren't. It's kind of that odd minute when you figure out, I missed the boat. The ship sailed and I wasn't on it.
You don't think we got 9 days to mess up?
You have 9 days. You have 9 days to turn it around so you're not kicked in that fire with all them other guys of what's going to happen.
But if we're walking between the lines right now, I mean, the very devil's going to be messing with us for the next 10 days. Or even up into Tabernacle and Sukkot for those 8 days.
Yeah, but if this was the real day of trumpets, if this was the day of trumpets, You're not entering into the real days of awe when the real fire is there at atonement for you to be kicked into. You see what I'm saying?
We're not appointed under wrath.
It's a microcosm. These are rehearsals. These are dressed rehearsals. A mikra, a rehearsal. We are rehearsing this every year. We walk through all of this every year as a preparation for the real deal, for the real thing. And when the real thing comes, you want to be, I want to be in that number. You know, what was that old song? I want to be in that number. Then the saints come watching me. With the saints.
Oh, with the saints.
Yeah, go ahead.
Brother, the parable that you should have told of the 10 virgins. There were 5 that were doing everything they were supposed to be doing, and the 5 that were not. And the 5 that were, when the Messiah came back, they were taken right then to the bronze chamber. And the rest of them, the other 5, when they came back and they knocked the door and said, "Let us in."
I don't know you.
We don't know you. Get out of here.
It doesn't say they're bad people.
No.
It didn't say they wasn't doing mighty good works. It didn't say any of that stuff. It said they missed the cut. You know, and that's another. Buddy, he's picking a wife. That first group's going to be the bride. And I guarantee you, when he's looking for a bride, he ain't looking for some ho-hum. He ain't going to make it. You better be somebody that he wants. Like looking for a bride. He's looking for somebody that is a chaste person, that is pure, that has that right heart, that right direction, everything. You know what I mean? All the attributes. These were virgins. These had lamps. Their lamps lit. They had all the attributes. There was no guile with them. They just didn't make the cut. You know what I'm saying?
But they took no oil with them though.
Well, they had oil. That's not enough.
Well, then why would you need the 10 days of awe? If you made the cut at Trumpets during when the
Okay,
sound.
the 5 wise did. The 5 foolish, they're going into the days of awe, aren't they?
10 days of awe for the Baptist.
Yeah.
Because it's, I mean, I don't know if that's in reference, but it says that you will be tried and tribulation.
Okay, hold on. I can't hear what Marcus trying to say.
Okay, it says the day, I don't know if that's referring to that time period, but these shall be cast into prison, you may be tried, have tribulation 10 days, be faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So, I mean, is there not going to be temptation in that? I mean, obviously there is going to be in that 10 days.
It will probably be greater.
It'll be greater, right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Because that's his last chance to grab
Yeah,
hold of the rest.
and that's your last chance to turn it around.
Not too
That's-
bad.
If you're the only one left with a bunch of sinners and you're trying to tell them to repent, you probably are going to, be faithful unto death, because they're going to get you.
You may not make it 10 days.
I want to read past that. I want to read Nehemiah 8 before we do this. Nehemiah 8 is actually a passage where they just come back from Babylon. They were building the second temple. And start 8:1. There's a bunch of names in here. I'm just going to pass through the names, so you can pass through the names with me, or you can pronounce it to yourself. And all the people gathered themselves together as one man on the street before the water gate, and they spoke to Ezra the scribe to bring the book of the law of Moses, which Yahweh had commanded to Israel. And Ezra the priest brought the law before the congregation, both men and women, and all they could hear was understanding on the first day of the 7th month. Y'all know what day that is? That's today, actually. That's the day of trumpets. On the first day of the 7th month. And he read therein before the street, which is before the water gate, from the morning until midday, before the men and the women, and those that could understand. And the ears of all the people were attentive unto the book of the law. And Ezra the scribe stood upon a pulpit of wood. Supposedly, this is where commentary, the rabbinics say this is where commentary started on the Torah portions. That what he did, he started this tradition of expounding law to the people and adding commentary for people to understand. And Ezra the scribe stood upon a pulpit of wood, and they made for that purpose, and beside him stood, and I'm going to go through and just skip all this back. And then 5. And Ezra opened the book in the sight of all the people, and he was above all the people. When he opened it, all the people stood up. And Ezra blessed Yahweh, the great Elohim, and all the people answered, Amen, Amen, and lifted up their hands, and they bowed their heads, and worshiped Yahweh with their faces to the ground. And the Levites caused all the people to understand the law, and the people stood in their places. So they read the book in the book of the law of Elohim distinctly, and gave the sense and the cause them to understand the reading. In other words, they gave commentary on it. And Nehemiah, which is the Teruah, the governor, and Ezra the priest, the scribes and the Levites, that taught the people, said unto the people, This day is holy unto Yahweh your Elohim. Mourn not or weep, for all the people wept when they heard the words of the Lord. Do we have that kind of reverence for this? You know, they really respected what was going on there. And then they get charity. They went and gave portions, and then they had nothing, and praised Yahweh. I just want to end with that was the start of they dedicated the altar that day. The temple foundation hadn't been laid yet. But that was the start of the reading of the law, and from the people coming back from that. The start of the second temple. Now, let's man is there. Let's say that you have a record to Yahweh by each track. Here, Yahweh from all the back of the net. Beside Yahweh from all the back be the same. Without shalom. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. May Yahweh make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May Yahweh lift his countenance